Where will President Trump deliver the State of the Union address? And where is the outcry from our Republican elected officials? Also, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that the world is coming to an end in 12 years. We're picking dates, people, from the left. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Picture this. It's 2010 or 2014. And House Speaker John Boehner says, President Obama, you are not welcome to deliver the State of the Union address in the U.S. House of Representatives building. Can you even imagine the rage, the backlash, the end of the world as we know it, the cries of condemnation, the death threats that he would receive? And yet Nancy Pelosi says, you're not going to give the State of the Union address here in the House chamber. This is so obscene. It is so evil. Nancy Pelosi is one of the most evil people on the face of the earth, not by virtue of how many people she's killed, although she has helped be a part of the murder of 50 million babies, but because of the sheer hubris and the callous disregard for law, for the will of the American people, for God's law, for tradition, for the honor of the office. So I'm enraged and disgusted in ways that are unimaginable. But just picture with me if John Boehner told Obama he couldn't speak. You'd have violence. You'd have portions of the cities of America burning to the ground with the riots that would happen. Black Lives Matter would be coming unhinged. Unhinged. And that's because that's how they deal with stuff. But what part of what enrages me about this, every elected Republican, U.S. House, U.S. Senate, governor's mansions should be using their office, their media outlets, to decry, to just browbeat Nancy Pelosi, to turn her into the devil-horned villain publicly that she deserves to be. And yet most of them are totally silent. In this scenario, the only thing more obscene than what Nancy Pelosi has done is the silence of elected Republicans. It's obscene. It reminds me of the scene in Braveheart, Mel Gibson's movie Braveheart. If you haven't seen it lately, I recommend that you watch it. It reminds me of the scene when William Wallace and his men are going to go to Falkirk and they're about to fight. And they have a plan and they can win against the British. And those three lords of the Scots who have been bought off by the King of England, they turn and they have that smug look and they walk away. They ride away, leaving William Wallace and his men to their defeat and leaving thousands of their men dead on the battlefield. Treachery, the refusal to engage the enemy, being bought out. That's what we're dealing with here. The refusal of Republican officials to rush to the defense of their president and say, I mean, do you understand the way that they could make Nancy Pelosi's life a living hell politically? How they could turn this on its head. She dished up to the Republican establishment one of the most precious opportunities to browbeat her and to show the villainous, treacherous, evil nature of this woman. And yet they just sit in silence. It's mind-boggling to me. Friends, I encourage you, please use whatever venue that you have to have a protest, a demonstration, a press conference, something in your community to help drive this debate. Now, let me take a break. We'll talk about the wall when we come back and what this is really all about. And also, we're going to play a clip from this lunatic woman. This girl, she's a girl. She's not even got the intellectual capacity of an adult yet. I'm talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And yet she is being inflated to the point where over 70% of Democrats in a poll that just came out said that they would consider voting for her for president. This is someone who cannot recite the 3 branches of government, and they would vote for her for president. This is what we're coming to, people, because of the silence and the folly of the right, the conservatives, the Christian community. God save us from our friends. I'll be right back. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Friend, this whole thing is about winning the White House and keeping the Supreme Court. Do you understand? This has never been about the wall, about security. This is about not wanting the wall so that we can have an influx of millions of illegal immigrants who are granted amnesty and who become Democrats. That's all this has ever been about. That's it. And that's even not being discussed. The Pew poll, who is a very reputable polling company, showed by a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 margin, Hispanics will become registered Democrats. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't care that 90% of them are Catholic. She's Catholic. She knows that they're going to put party loyalty to, and if the unborn babies be forgotten, be discarded. That's going to be their attitude. They're going to become Democrat, and they're going to vote for Democrat presidential candidates, and Texas will be lost. The electoral vote for Texas will go Democrat, Arizona will go Democrat, Florida will go Democrat, and then you've got other states where it's probably going to happen as well for good. I'm talking about Colorado, possibly Ohio, places where there are very large Hispanic populations that are considered to be a Republican state. They're gone, people. And then they will control the White House. Then they will control the Supreme Court picks. And while Ruth Bader Ginsburg is probably on life support, she's going to die very soon, okay? She's going to die and go on to her eternal reward, whatever that is. Hate to be in her shoes, people, when she faces God. Hate to be in her shoes when she faces God. She's going to die, and President Trump is going to have another appointment to the Supreme Court. And the left is going crazy. They are trying to figure out a way to get control of the White House and keep it for our lifetime. And the way to do it is not through their stupid, asinine, godless policies. It's through registration of illegal immigrants. That amnesty, people. That's what this is all about. And I can't... You know, Jesus, in the Sermon on the Mount, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. But he closed out the Sermon on the Mount with, blessed are you when you are persecuted for righteousness. Blessed are you when you're hated for my name's sake. Blessed are you when you're hated, reviled. Your name is cast out as evil. All manner of evil is spoken against you falsely. False accusations. He said, you're blessed because you stood for what was right. He said, rejoice, leap for joy. That's how they treated the prophets. Great is your reward in heaven. We're filled in the U.S. House, U.S. Senate, governor's mansions around the country with people who love their reputation. Jesus said, woe to you when all men speak well of you. And that poison, that love of self, that toxin to the soul has possessed the hearts and the minds of so many elected Republican officials. It's appalling. And that's why they're quiet. If they stand up, they're going to start to take arrows. And President Trump, he's gruff and he's not, he doesn't play by the rules of subservience to the media that they become accustomed to. And he's ticking them off. So Nancy Pelosi says, you're not going to speak at the House. He grounds the plane, says, you're not going to Afghanistan. Stay home and fix this. That was a brilliant move on his part. And of course, what did the media say? Oh, he's being childish. Trump's being childish. You vile, despicable, fake reporters. You don't have the integrity to just break rank for a half a second and say, is Nancy Pelosi really doing this? Is she really doing this? So what's President Trump going to do? I don't know. I don't know where he's going to deliver the State of the Union address. They're talking about it right now. The Senate chamber would probably be the best option. It's not anywhere near as big, doesn't have the drama, but it would still look good. It would still look good. He shouldn't do a rally because he can do a rally 5 times a week if he wants. He should not do it from the Oval Office because that doesn't have the dynamic of the crowd. He should do it in the Senate. And no, I don't think he should just roll up with his limos and walk into the House. That would be bad form on his part. Form matters. Tradition matters. I've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to play a clip from this airhead. And I don't mean to be unkind. I'm really not. But friends, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's being lionized. And she's an airhead. Okay, do you understand? She's not a lightweight. She's not a featherweight. She's not even as smart as the court jester. She's just pretty and she's articulate and she's stupid. She's actually stupid. I'll be right back.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. We're going to play a clip of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where she spoke recently at an event in honor of Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King. And there's so much that I can say about this, but what strikes me as tragic is people clapping. Now, I don't know if there's 300 or 3,000 people in the hall. I don't know how big the event was. But the fact that they're clapping, the fact that no one is standing up and saying, that's not true. The fact that over 70% of Democrats say that they would consider voting for her and 17% are like, yes, I'm locked in. These are not intelligent people, and they want somebody who could be the president, who can't identify the 3 branches of government, who said later on in the speech that the presence of millionaires is immoral. Listen to this meandering blather, okay? Just watch.
And I think that the part of it that is generational is that millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II. And I think for younger people, we're looking at this and we're like, how are we saying let's take it easy when 3,000 Americans died last year? How are we saying let's take it easy when the nth person has just died from our cruel and unjust criminal justice system? How are we saying take it easy when the America that we're living in today is so dystopian, with people sleeping in their cars so that they can work a second job without health care, and we're told to settle down? It's a fundamental separation between, you know, that fierce urgency of now, the why we can't wait that King spoke of, that at some point these chronic realities do reach a breaking point. And I think for our generation, it's reached that. And I wish I didn't have to be, you know, doing every post, but sometimes I just feel like people aren't being held accountable. And until we all start pitching in and holding people accountable, I'm just gonna let them have it.
So it's
People take her seriously, and the media is lionizing her. The world's coming to an end in 12 years? Did you hear her say that? Really? Alexandria, listen, if this poor child was in, and I'm trying to be just a little condescending. I am, and maybe it's unbecoming of me. If it is, I apologize. But really, what if it's 14 years? What if it's 10? You know, we've been hearing my whole life, for most of my life, that the world is going to come to an end. First from the evangelical community with the second coming, but then really hot on the heels was the climate change people. The cold earth, the hot earth, the global warming, global cooling. We don't even want to know what it is. Let's just call it climate change. And now the world's coming to an end. And you're worried about who's going to pay for it? The world's not coming to an end, okay? Climate change isn't going to sink the world in 12 years. It's just not. But the very fact that she could make this statement, and that the media doesn't just hone in on it a little bit, just a little bit. Come on, throw us a bone, hone in just a little bit and say, really? Let's start to do the math here. This is a woman who says that billionaires are immoral. This is a woman who says that she can't identify the three branches of government. This is a woman who does in this meandering speech. Could you even tell what she was talking about? Really and truly? She said in one of the portions of the speech that there are people working 100 hours a week and can't feed their children. That's a lie. You're lying, Alexandria. There's nobody working 100 hours a week at jobs who can't feed their children. They might have a problem with the credit card debt. They might have a car payment that they shouldn't have got. They might have some financial difficulty. They might have an addiction. People who work 100 hours a week usually don't have a chemical addiction. But they can feed their kids. You're a liar. You're a liar, and the world's not coming to an end. You're a liar. You're not smart. And the media is letting her have airtime. And I'm telling you right now, this is what they're thinking. They're thinking, we created Donald Trump because we just couldn't stop covering him. Let's return the favor. Let's cover Ocasio-Cortez. Let's cover her, and let's cover Beto, the guy that Ted Cruz just beat up in the race for Texas Senate. They're still covering this guy. They're still covering him. Fresh, young, energetic face. Oh, the new face of the Democratic Party. The world's going to come to an end in 12 years. Look, she's 29 years old. She can't run for president until 2028. So it's 2019. Oh, my goodness. She's prophesying. If she becomes president in 12 years, if she becomes president, if she gets elected in 2028, it would be the end of the world as we know it. She's prophesying what would happen if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez became our first insane, wind-filled headed president. Maybe she's right. The end of the world is coming if she becomes president. This is craziness. We're in crazy town, people. We're in crazy town. And, you know, Just what are we going to do? Watch our TV some more? I'll be right back. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. When I ran for president in 2012 against Obama in a few Democratic primaries, just to run TV ads, we had some TV stations that were breaking the law and trying to get out of running the ads. It's the law, they're supposed to run them. And one of their attorneys was, making these stupid arguments. By the way, her name is Ocasio-Cortez. I was saying Octavius or Octavio. I must have been confusing her with the villain in Spider-Man. Anyway, I apologize. I'm not using a teleprompter. So this attorney was making these ludicrous arguments. I wrote to him and said, the reason we have elections and the laws protecting the speech of candidates, that's what I wrote, is so that we don't have to kill people like you. That's what I said. And that's the truth. I don't want to kill him. I don't want anyone to kill him. The reason we have campaigns, the reason we have elections is so that we don't have to kill people. How did you have a transition of government in the past? Revolution. I mean, either you have a dynasty, right? Or you kill people. The Romans killed people. They had coups in the government. We Americans killed British soldiers. Revolution. I mean, really and truly, people, we have elections so that we can have the peaceful transfer of power so that we don't have to kill people, kidnap people, burn their houses to the ground, lock them up in jail, banish them, torture them. That's the history of the human race. And the progress of Christianity, Christian civilization brought us so that to the place where we can have the peaceful transfer of power without bloodshed. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. But people, it's still a campaign. It's war by another means. And people have forgotten why we have campaigns, why we have public discourse, why we have free speech. So that we can debate our ideas, so that we can say, you're out of your mind, you're a moron, your ideas are stupid. And people in the Christian community especially have come to the place where they want to be nicer than Jesus. They don't want to say mean things. They don't want to say unkind things. Jesus threw money tables around. He chased people with a whip. He said, you vile hypocrites, you're full of dead men's bones. But we don't want to say anything like that. We don't want to be like the prophet Elijah on Mount Carmel in 1 Kings chapter 18. We don't want to be like any of that. We want to be nicer than Jesus. And I'm telling you, we're going to get our butts kicked.
Mm-hmm.